Hello, this is SPYDER-RIDE Kev. We're going off on a little ride today of about 90 miles. We're initially on this video going to go to the Freedom Rock in Harrison County, Iowa. Ray Bubba Sorensen II has created over 100 of these, one in each county in Iowa and then a few more in other places. So we started out just on the outskirts of Crescent, Iowa, and we're now driving in the road into the town itself. As you can probably see in front of us here, we've got a nice piece of road. And it's not a bad day. It's December the 7th, 2024, and we're just coming up to the stop signs very shortly in Crescent, Iowa. The weather looks nice, but it's actually fairly cold. It's usually been going down to about the 20s overnight.
Well, you know, we're expecting some ice tonight, rain and ice.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah, and that could be interesting. But we're hoping to do the best. We've got as much clothing on as we can put on. We've got the heated seats and gloves and the hand grips, of course, too. Now we're just coming up along here, and shortly on the left-hand side, you'll see one of the diners that's in Crescent. That's very popular.
Henry's?
Yeah, Henry's. Nothing finer, as the locals say. So it will be coming up in just a moment or two. In fact, there it is. I think it's come and gone. Right, now we're heading off on this track further. As I say, it looks nice. The temperature feels okay at the moment.
It's supposed to be pretty sunny.
Yeah, it's pretty sunny at the moment. It hasn't broken the cloud too much, but we're having a good little outing anyway. So you can see some of the typical housing in this part of the world, and just in the back there are what they call the bluffs, the Council Bluffs. They're made out of a type of clay that's only found in Council Bluffs area and China, so it's a very unique feature. The bluffs can stand very vertically and not come falling down. They don't get eroded very quickly. Okay.
That sounds very odd, doesn't it?
It does. I can see you in the back there on that view. So now if I pan over to the side here, this is the flatland towards Nebraska, and there's the bluffs picking up over there on the side again. Just up the road from there is the Crescent Ski Hills, which obviously there's no snow around at the moment, but as soon as we get some snow, if we get snow, they'll be operating and running the ski lifts and all that sort of thing. So the road looks pretty good. What do you think?
Yeah, I think all in all, it's really a beautiful day.
Yeah, I should have.
The road's nice and smooth.
I should have introduced you sooner. Of course, this is my wife Anne. She's the passenger. Travels with me everywhere, and we're out for the long ride. It may get very chilly towards the end because we expect to be out till the sun goes down. Now, going on this road, they're pretty straight with little bends now and again. It's more attractive, obviously, in the spring and summer when we've got leaves on the trees, but it has its own beauty even at this time of the year.
I was just going to say that.
Yeah,
it's the way it is. It's beautiful too.
Yeah, so we really enjoyed just riding these back roads. This is sort of one of the busier back roads. It's the old Highway 6, I believe, and you will see some traffic on this one.
Isn't this also called the Old Lincoln Highway?
I think I think you're right on that. So
kind of has 2 or 3 names.
Yes, yeah, like a lot of roads in Iowa, I guess, and other places too. They seem to go by 2 or even 3 different names. There used to be a llama farm just at one side here.
I remember it well.
Do you remember that? It's been gone a few years now, but yeah. And then there's various cattle farms. Some of these are open and fed out in the fields, but quite a few of them are corralled up and fed the corn and just kept in a compound, basically.
Oh my gosh, look at the sky.
Yeah, isn't that a beautiful sky today? The cloud formations are just amazing around here. And you can see the sky and the land, it just goes on forever. It's not always flat. Now I've just swung the Insta360 camera around in process. Later I'll do this, but you can see in the background there's another vehicle behind us, and we're all traveling about 50 miles an hour, which is the speed limit on this particular road. And it's there goes another car that way, but it's yeah, it's really nice. So everything looks sort of grey and brown because everything's just dying back because of the winter freeze, but it's going to be a lovely ride anyway. We're going to make the most of it.
Mm-hmm.
So I'll just mention a little bit about the Freedom Rock we're heading towards. It's about 20 miles or so from Crescent, I believe, and these rocks are remarkably, they're just absolutely beautifully painted. The guy,
Bubba
Sorensen, has done a remarkable job. He does one for each county, and they are unique to each county. He incorporates people who've served, died, been in prisoner of war camps from all of the services, and it's a massive tribute to everybody who's ever served in America in any part of the state of Iowa. And you've got to come out and look at these things. As I say, you can come out and do a treasure hunt and find them that way. Some are harder to find because they're quite often put off in smaller towns and off the beaten track. So we've been out to them before, but this is the first time I've had the camera on the machine. So we're doing a new exploratory run. I might clip in later some of the summer shots to give you some example, or we'll probably just do the run again in the summer and take it into account there. So now we're starting to head back into the wooded area that again formed part of the Loess Hills, and there's a nature reserve off here onto the left hand side. If you look in the fields, sometimes you can spot turkeys and deer and various other creatures that live around here.
It looks like they kind of bob their heads in and out of the grass.
It does a little bit, doesn't it? Yes, yeah. So it's an interesting view. It's one of my favourite rides. Well, look, there they are. That's the Hitchcock Nature Trail. We've just gone by there, and now we're heading up into a little area that's got a little bit of bends and down. It's steeply built up on one side. You can see there some example of it right now.
Yeah.
And then on the other side, you'll see that there's some fields. Sometimes they have cattle in them and things like that. Occasionally you might see a deer or some other critter in there. You get a lot of possums and raccoons around here, so if they're not on the roads being squished, they're out there hiding until they'll come out in the evening. So again, there's a real good view of as we go along. I do like the rear views. Perhaps if you like them too, you can make a comment. I try and do this 360 editing later so that we capture a view all around without it being too aggressive. You can get really fanciful with these 360 cameras, but I'm trying to keep it fairly simple and rolling the views from the front to the back and then to the sides from time to time. And yes, down on the side here there's often cattle in these fields, but I'm guessing they've been put away for the winter time. As we come down further, do you remember what's down here next?
I think Underwood.
Is it? No, we haven't got that far. We're still heading into. It's that. What was it, Airplane Inn? I believe it's coming up in a little while.
Creek.
Honey Creek. That's the next place. But
that's where the airplane is.
Yes, that's a few miles further up, as you'll see. The speed limit is down at about 40 mile an hour now, and as we come round the corner here, I think, if I remember rightly, just on our right is the Airplane Inn. I don't know if it survived COVID, because it looks very quiet down there now.
There's one truck in front.
One truck, and that might be just the owner. But again, nice places to live out here. Not too far from Omaha or Council Bluffs to work, and of course some of the people here will be working as farmers and so on. Now, a nice look back on the bluffs down there.
The people around here are very friendly.
They are, aren't they?
Very
Yes.
nice people.
Yes. Yeah. Anybody you meet on the roads, in the cafes, in the stores, and all that sort of thing, they'll say hello if you say hello, and you can have a chat. They'll tell you the whole life story if you want to hear it. And very nice, very easygoing. It doesn't matter who you are or where you come from, what you're riding. We don't see any aggression or dislike for the Spyder that some people have mentioned in their videos. We just wave at everybody, and everybody seems to wave back. The only times they don't wave back is usually when they're sort of going around a corner or getting ready to pass traffic or something that involves safety. Mm-hmm. And obviously then they can't wave while you're riding. So that's an exception. But generally we'll get very friendly waves and looks, especially from youngsters when we go through towns and places like that in the warmer weather when they're out and about. So, do you remember this part? This is the part we've driven many times over the years, going up to Missouri Valley Airport, where we used to fly the aeroplanes.
Right.
Do you remember we did that all through the year?
Oh gosh, we'd be there in the sweltering heat, spend all day out in the sun, and
with the hangar doors banging, in the wind and all that, and then we'd wait and walk up and down the runway and hope that the wind would drop so that we could fly our micro airplanes.
We had 4 or 5 of our very dear friends who we spent every Sunday with at the airport.
Yeah, we'd come up to breakfast in the morning, and we'd then come back to the airfield and spend all day there, sometimes bringing picnic stuff and get the barbecue out, didn't we?
And when the wind died down, we actually got some flights. But
yes.
Sometimes they were few and far between.
A lot of the time it was just too windy, wasn't it? Mm-hmm. This place is a windy area, and you could go up there for days. But we just went up for fun, and we enjoyed it. And
we enjoyed hanging out together.
Yeah, and people would fly in with paragliders and powered parachutes and all this sort of thing, and we'd just hang out, meet and greet, and it's a nice little airport just up here. Now I think we're getting closer to, this is still the
Old Lincoln Highway.
Old Lincoln Highway, and the bluffs are on our left, is it?
Wow.
Or our right hand side, I think.
Right.
Yeah, on our right hand side. Yeah, the way the camera is. But I'm just going to do a slow pan, and then we'll see.
Oh, that's nice.
As we come around. Yeah, those round bales, that's a
nice area to do that.
Yeah, for those who are not country people, those round bales are how they roll up the straw, the grass, after it's been laid out to dry. They roll it into round bales, and they're used to feed the cattle and the other animals throughout the winter. And you'll see those in rows from the various fields where they've collected them, and they'll stash them there until the winter comes, and then they can break them out and you sell them to farmers who need them and stuff like that. Mm-hmm. And it's there are a lot of people like living out here. In fact, I quite like to live out here too. But on the left-hand side, as we're looking forward, it is a floodplain, and they've had breaches of the Missouri River 3 or 4 times. That's some more of those bales over the last few years, and the fields have been inundated, and the airport's been flooded up to a depth of about 6 feet or more. So the airplanes and everything else that were kept there were pretty well written off. And we've had a couple of tornadoes roll through and rip the roof off the hangars and turn airplanes upside down and all that sort of thing too. So it's a windy and wild place at times, but it's got a beauty of its own, don't you think?
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah. So, what's your favourite part about riding? I know you're a captive prisoner on the back there. So, how do you feel about it?
Well, in the warmer weather, I love the feeling of the wind in my face and on my body. And
do you look around a lot?
I look around a lot, and I see things that I had never noticed before.
Right. Do you think you can see more than you would than if you were in a car?
Yeah.
Yeah. And you do get that open feeling. Now, this is that little. I think we're coming to Loveland now, isn't it?
Yes.
I think just through it. It's a very small place, but it did have a post office. I don't know if it still is. Didn't people used to come and get their...
Yeah, they drive up here on
Valentine's
Day, and they wanted the postmark from Loveland to send their cards to their sweethearts.
I don't know if they're still doing that, but it's a nice thought, isn't it? And it kept that little place going, but sadly I'm not sure if they've still got the post office.
Yeah, you know, we're going to have to buzz up there sometime and just check that out.
Just wander around, see if it's still there. Yes, yeah. Along the side there, on the top of the banking, is a railroad line, and there's a lot of traffic coming up around this way up to Missouri Valley. 2 mile long coal trains with loads of coal on them, 2 or 3 engines pushing them. They take them hundreds, if not thousands, of miles around the countryside to various locations, and there's always stuff moving on the tracks. But that's typical of a lot of the small towns around in Iowa. They're built around the corn harvesting and other things out of the fields, and they also supply fuel and all the other things that's needed out there before the roads were put in. This is a great road, this old Lincoln Highway, or Highway 6 I think it is. It's pretty straight. Condition of it is not bad. I class it as just slightly down to about...
It's very, very smooth.
Yeah, it's probably a 9 or an 8 out of 10.
Yeah.
There's a few cracks, and you can see those coming up from time to time. But it's really, really nice. And you can see now, I mean, what about that sky again? It's just changing all the time.
It's like a painting.
It does, doesn't it? Yes. You do well to it if you could capture that. Just very, very pretty. Now you can see, just going by, there's some round bins, which are actually corn bins for keeping the corn when they collect it, and that's kept there until the trucks can come up and take it down to the central location in Council Bluffs and a couple of other places where they can then ship it out in the rail cars. So, okay, now we're just passing under a bridge here. This is almost up to the airport, isn't it? Just over on our left, fairly sure. We might be able to see it. I think it's the camera's possibly high enough so we might be able to spot it. We're not very far out of Missouri Valley now, probably about a mile maybe.
Oh, yeah, maybe not even that.
This is a very popular road for motorcyclists. You see droves of them coming down the road. There's a little bar in Missouri Valley, isn't there? I can't remember what it was called now.
Pappa Joe's.
Pappa Joe's, yeah, and it's very, very popular with lots of the bikers. A good place to stop. They come out and they ride in groups and hang out there for a while and then ride around. There's a couple of other places inland. What's that place that everybody wants to go to for lunch? Beebeetown, is it?
Oh, yes, and that's another spot for bikers.
Yeah,
very popular.
We'll do a ride out there.
It's called the Twisted Tail.
Twisted Tail, that's it. And we'll do a ride out there again when it warms up a bit and get some more video footage and show that off, because it's a really nice place and they do excellent food there too. But it's almost like in the middle of nowhere. Okay.
Beebeetown has such a low population that it seems like the restaurant is not the only business. Yeah,
somebody said how many the people live in there, but you could probably count it on a couple of hands these days, I would think.
Yeah,
it's pretty low anyway, isn't it? Okay, here's the airport coming by, just a very small one, and we used to have
that's where we hung out.
We used to have one of the little slots in one of those hangars, and we spent many happy hours over several years flying and chatting and just having a good time. So now, coming up again, there used to be a steakhouse out here, wasn't there?
Yeah, and it was very popular, and I don't know what happened. It was called Guernsey's.
Yeah, do you think it was COVID that might have taken it out?
It was right around that time.
Yeah,
so
it might have been.
Very possible.
So we're heading up towards that now, and you can see the fields. They've not got much in them now. There's some grass, maybe some old beans, and some just haven't been cleaned up for the winter yet. And that's one of those roads there. I think it might be that one, or it might be the next one up on the right is the one heading towards Beebeetown. And This is a nice little town. They've got some good little restaurants, ice cream places.
Yeah, it's a small town, but
Yeah.
there's a few establishments.
If we turned left at the lights further up here, and we head out far enough almost to the interstate, there's an old-fashioned diner, but it's like brand new there, isn't it? It's a bit pricey, but the food's really good. And
I cannot think of the name.
Yeah, we were talking to the lady, and she said it's used by the railroad, the Union Pacific, and they have a hotel nearby, and they put their guys up there for overnights and things like that, and then they come out. It's open 24 hours.
Right,
so
they have their meals there.
So if you're riding at any time, we've just passed that, what do you call that bar again?
Oh, Papa Joe's.
Papa Joe's, yeah. Now we're taking a right turn, and we're heading just through out of Missouri Valley. Most of the Missouri Valley is down behind us now, which is why I've turned the camera around so you can see back behind me, or behind us. And there's plenty of places for gas, fuel, and all the other things.
Remember when we looked at a house here?
Oh yeah, we did. Yeah, but
and then one of the people who lives in the town kind of gave us a warning about the floodplain.
That's right. It was low down, isn't it? I'm glad we didn't take it, because we would have been buried underwater.
It happened frequently.
Frequently, yeah. Over the 25 years we're living in Council Bluffs now, so we've been there for. Well, I've been here for 26 years now, and you've been here since all your life, haven't you?
Right. If you notice, I don't have an English accent because I'm a Council Bluffs girl.
You should have got that off me by now. But,
it's not contagious.
You're used to my weird words, and
I interpret.
Yes, you have to interpret, don't you?
People.
Yes. It's a tricky accent, mine. And I know on the videos here I sometimes say things and they don't come out clearly, so I try and slow down and enunciate, but it doesn't work very well, and I end up with lots of ums and ahs, so I'm trying not to do those in this video. And anyway, we're working our way out now, and we're going to the visitor center, one of the IO visitor centers. This is one of the best ones that we've been in. It's just beautiful inside, and they're always so friendly in there. I'll do some video footage inside there when we get there, and but first, when we get there, we'll take a look at the Freedom Rock. But you can see the land. It's pretty flat on one side, and then it's got some sort of raised woodland areas and a little bit of the hills left. They do a lot of I don't know what it's called really, scalloping of the hills. Oh, here we are. We've just moved into the Freedom Rock area. I just had a blank in the video there. I'll have to check that out and see why. I think my power must have cut off. But anyway, we're back on with the cam. Once I stopped, I turned it back on, and this is one of the Freedom Rocks, and I think it's a beautiful example of what Bubba Sorensen does. And just down below there is the visitor center, but look at the detail on that. And Bubba comes out, I think, every year and touches them up and makes sure they're in good condition. And you can see Anne sitting there back on the Spyder while she waits for me to do this little bit of videoing. But I love them. Some of them have plaques around the walls and things, and others have them on the ground, and they're always wonderful places to visit and reflect. I try and read upon the stories of the people that are on there, and sometimes there's a little notice board, isn't there, that you can look at and see what else is.
And everybody signs in. Yeah. They like to know where people are coming from.
Yeah. Right, so I'm just getting back on the Spyder now, and I'm going to just take you down to, there you go, you can see a little bit of the 360 weirdness. The stitching from the front camera to the back camera is making that sort of wave on there. I'll leave it in though, but I'm not that bothered. We're very comfortable sitting there on the sheepskin, aren't we? That works pretty well.
Even very nice, very warm.
The heat comes through, doesn't it, quite well. and you've got the hand grips, and I've got mine too.
Right.
Anna has to give me the leg over to get me on, and the same getting off, because my legs are pretty short. I have an issue just swinging over the top. But once I'm settled down, got my seat back in place, it doesn't take me too long to get started. And so we'll roll down, just down the slope here, and go and take a look in the visitor centre. And there we go. So,
yeah, I'll go in there with you.
right. It's
Usually
a nice.
You meet nice people.
Yeah, it's a nice place to stop, isn't it? These places. The ones we've been in around the area, we go to these Freedom Rocks within about 100 and 150 miles. Some of the further ones out, we have taken a car on very hot days and just driven out there, but they're well worth going to. We might make trips out there with the Spyder, but we might just go out in the car when they're further afield. So although we're only covering probably 25 of the rocks around the western part of Iowa, there are plenty more to explore all over the state. So if you live or if you want to visit Iowa, this is an excellent thing to do. It's like a treasure hunt, because sometimes they're not easy to find, and when you get there, they are remarkable. Some of them are just well, they're all beautifully painted, but there's some very interesting stories behind them, isn't there? They are works of art, without a doubt. Yeah. Okay, just going to pull up here and get myself established. There we go. I was trying to make up my mind where to park there for a second, but I think we're good. All right, so another climb off the machine.
He has trouble climbing off. I have trouble climbing on.
Yeah.
Sometimes, and I have to have him get off the trike first before I'm able to get off.
I don't think either of us have fallen off yet, have we?
No. Surprisingly not.
Surprisingly not, no. Oh yeah, a little bit of that. You can see that little like flashing past there. That's the stitching where the two halves of the video are put together automatically in processing. Okay, so hopefully I get off and I get the camera. I'm probably disconnecting the camera at any stage now, and then we can take a walk inside. I'm wired up with various cameras and mounts in different locations, so I can try and get interesting shots. I've got a front and rear camera, more or less like you'd have in the car, and then I've got the helmet mounted one, and I might mount one on the dashboard area as well to look back. But this 360 camera does a great job, so I'm enjoying using it. It's only early days yet, and but it's remarkable what it can do. So I think this is going to be my go-to camera.
You're definitely a gadget man.
I am, aren't I? Yes. I'm always fiddling and doing. So okay, I'm just waiting now for Anne to get off.
Sometimes it takes
give her a helping hand. Yeah, yes. We're very entertaining when we're getting it on and off, aren't we, I guess.
Hope people aren't taking video of us.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah,
that,
that would make something special. Yeah. So, yeah.
It's just reality, folks.
It is. Yeah, it's the way it is. When you get to our age, we're both 72, heading towards 73. So, yeah, here we go. We're going to walk inside now. So I'll give you a little quick tour around.
Oh, it's open.
Yeah, it is open. That's great. And there you are. Okay, I'm being a gentleman, letting you in, of course. Yeah. So loads of brochures and all the usual stuff, but lots of things, mugs and all sorts of trinkets and stuff that you can look at. This visitor centre is quite large. It doesn't look as big from the outside as it is on the inside. It's a bit like a Doctor Who TARDIS, isn't it? They've got bottles of wine and local produce and things, and various things to see. On this occasion, we've been round in here before, so I didn't stop because of the temperature and the amount of limited daylight, but they have all sorts of things around to look at. And
there's the gal who...
Yeah, do you remember her name?
Sandra.
Was that what it was? Yeah.
No, I'm sorry. It was Rhonda.
Rhonda, that sounds more like, yeah. So I was just taking my helmets off and that, and just getting organised to go outside again. And I think that's probably where I'm going to leave the video. So thanks for watching. There'll be another one or two. We're going to do the Bronze Eagles next, and that's another story. So we'll come back with those in a week or two.
Yes, and thank you all for watching. And if you like this video, give it a like, subscribe. Doesn't cost you anything, and it makes a big difference to us.
And so goodbye from Kevin and Anne.
Goodbye.
From Council Loess.
See you next time.
See you next time.